us how to make a sourdough starter and sourdough. I've always wanted to know. I've always wanted to learn how to do this. I'm so excited. I honestly thought that it was like a ball of dough or something.
A ball of dough. Yeah. Well, there is so there's this really cool, I've seen it on Instagram, where there's this old school sourdough where it's like this hard ball, like it is, and I guess it's pretty cool, and they keep it all wrapped up like in their fancy linens and stuff like that. So you just I just use my water like 100, 110 degrees.
Okay, so hot water.
Yeah.
So here's what we have. We have a jar, a scale. Oh, you put the jar on the scale, and then do you know how much the jar weighs already?
No, I just zero it out. You just hit tear. So then it doesn't matter. So even if I have my scale, and if I put it on and it's weighing it, you just hit tear and it goes to 0.
Okay.
And I weigh everything out in grams. So, backstory. Want to know why I cook my bread?
I do, and I want to know what this is.
So this is one of my besties from Washington. I killed my sourdough starter, traveling all the time for work. And I was like, I need more sourdough starter. I'm so sad. So she just dried some out for me, which I need to do so I have more backup, because it's so easy. So I'm going to give you some, and then I'm going to walk you through how to get her to come alive.
Okay.
Okay. And then we can start learning how to make sourdough.
Yeah. So if you want to do it, pause and get a jar, and if you have a scale.
And you can make your own just with flour and water, and you start to just let it come alive. This just makes the process quicker when you get a starter.
Wait, so is this, I'm asking all the dumb questions, so is this just dried?
This is dried activated starter. So you have discard, which is in my fridge, and she's not activated, okay? But she was at one point.
What does that mean?
It means it's gotten all bubbly and like fermented, and she's increased in size, and she's beautiful. All the bubbles talk these beautiful things to you, and that's what, it's the fermentation process that makes it so digestible.
Do you think the bubbles talk beautiful?
They do. The more bubbles you see, just the happier it is, and it's just like this pretty little song it sings you. It's a happy starter.
Do you remember when you were doing the pressure cooker and they sealed, and you were like, that's my favorite sound? I love this lady. She's going to teach us so much. Okay.
So anyway, you can get your starter. You can get it live, dehydrated. This just speeds up the process.
Oh, cool.
But if you have flour and water, you can make your own starter. It just takes sometimes like a week to get her to start to come to life. Just feeding it every day, sometimes twice a day. And feeding it literally means adding more flour and water and giving it a stir. Keeping
her. You don't need yeast. I thought you needed yeast. So
there is no yeast in sourdough bread.
What? It's literally just
flour, water, and salt.
I had no idea. I had no idea. Okay, so
flour, water, and salt.
You're fermenting flour.
Pretty much.
How come when you get it from the grocery store it says yeast?
Because grocery store is not real sourdough. They actually add vinegar to give it that sourdough flavor. It's really, really difficult to find actually real sourdough bread. You have to go to like a bakery that is doing it right. When you go to the grocery store and you buy sourdough bread off the shelf, it's not real sourdough. It's flavored to have that bitter flavor like a sourdough bread does, but it's not.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so when you're talking about like the glycemic index and all of that fancy mumbo jumbo that goes into sourdough that makes it so easily digested, yeah, that doesn't do it.
Interesting. So we're eating fake sourdough.
Well, you're eating fake bread.
You're eating fake bread.
That is why I make all my own bread. So as a rule of thumb, if I don't have fresh bread made, we just don't eat bread here.
Which actually I think is really cool, because if you watch our last videos, we were doing a Bible study of Proverbs 31. And to me, I've always equated like making bread and like making things from scratch as being a good wife. It doesn't say it in the Bible. It's just like, that's like in my mind, like I want to do that. Like I want to make my own things. I want to like care for my family. I want to like make things that are natural and real. So this is as simple as you get, 3 ingredients.
Oh, it's so simple. Okay. And then when we walk through the process, like we watched all these sourdough breads because it's gotten really like trendy, right? Everybody's making sourdough, which I think is an amazing thing to go trendy. Sure. Like how exciting is that? You want to help us, Choco? But you can make it really basic. You can do it where you're not even kneading it, so you're not doing all these stretch and folds all day long. You can do it where you just put it in the fridge and then you take it out and you shape it and you make it. You can add water. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Find a method that works for you.
So what do you do? So Tiff's gonna show us what she does, and then we're gonna follow up in a few days, and you're gonna help me with mine.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but I'll be ready to make bread tomorrow. So I'll make a loaf of bread tomorrow since I'm making a starter now. You can keep it simple, folks. And by simple, I mean, you can use just a regular wooden spoon, like a metal spoon. You can use a wooden one. I have all the fancy things. You don't need all the fancy things. Keep it simple, keep it basic. Nobody cares. I prefer a 1-to-1 ratio. That's what I like for making my starter. So remember, this is my sourdough discard. She's been living in my refrigerator, a happy little clam. I added some more sourdough to her that I didn't finish. I made a couple loaves of sandwich bread, the sourdough sandwich bread, and a loaf of the buttery croissant sourdough.
Really good.
And we got to enjoy today. It was my first time trying it. She turned out okay. Right out of the oven was
even not out of the oven was really good.
So I like a 1-to-1-to-1. So I am going to be doing just 50 grams because I just want to make one loaf of bread, and I'll have some left over.
So you're making a starter out of a starter.
Because see how there's no bubbles. She's not active.
So you're making it activated. Okay.
I am. So
50 grams.
And you can weigh it out with measuring spoons. Like you can decide to do like a 30 cup, a 30 cup, a 30 cup, whatever you want to do. I prefer to weigh it. I found it's just a lot better ratios and it's more accurate. It turns out better for me, I should say.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I see. So if you can't see, because you guys can't see the number on the scale.
Almost there.
She's pouring it very carefully. And it stops at 51 on the nose.
And then I like to do my water next, to stir her in next, and I'll just go up to 100. Ooh, this is my happy trick. I just learned this the other day. When you pour too much water in, even when you're making your sourdough, just put a paper towel right there on the top.
Oh, and like soak up some of that water.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It like soaks it up real good, and then you can get better measurements. Because we call them happy accidents, right?
Oh, right. Amazing. So
see that?
So you just need to go to
No, I'm not. I don't
you're
care.
good. So it's okay if it's not like perfect. So she had 51 and 104.
Yep. So it's like a little bit over. I don't care. I need to put a new thing in here. So now, what I prefer to do though is to give this guy a mix before I add the flour. It just mixes so much easier that way. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated right now.
I'll tear it out. And we'll just add 50 grams of flour.
I like that. Then you don't have to math.
Yeah, the math don't need to be math in today, man.
Don't need to math. I'm so excited about this.
Come on. We're so close.
We're so 44.
Close. So close.
And why she does that, I'm just going to tell you, we're going to have a lot more videos like this of growing food, making food. We both are really passionate about making things that are healthy, making things that are organic, making things that are you can find in your backyard. We've been making beef tallow face lotion and toothpaste. Well, you gave me the idea to make toothpaste out of bentonite clay. And so now she's mixing it.
And it's kind of thick. Like it's not super watery, right? Like she's kind of like pancake batter. Okay,
Yeah,
like a thick pancake
batter
like is where I like mine to be. Some people like it more runny. Like I said, you will find what you like.
So it just ferments
So what I do, because I'm so fancy, you guys, I'm so bougie, is I just take a paper towel and I fold her in half. I put it on, and then I'm gonna take.
You don't need salt. What was that?
Nope. That's part of the recipe for actually making the bread. When we're doing our starter, we're talking flour, water, and that's all that's in here is flour and water in our discard. So I put this on, and then I like to watch how she grows. So you can get fancy sourdough jars that have the rings and all that stuff. I am so fancy, I use a dry erase marker, and I just put where she's at. just like that. I don't know if you can see the line.
That's fancy.
Yeah, see, I'm really, really fancy. And then I put her in a quiet place where we can just tell her how beautiful she is. And she grows really fast. I will say with sourdough is you have to learn the timing because that's the hardest thing.
The timing of like it rising?
Right, so it's later in the evening. Right?
Wait, so how on that jar, how if somebody's doing this and they're doing like the 50-50-50, how high do they want it to be in their jar? Like how do they know when it's ready?
That thing's gonna like triple in size.
So when the jar is like full, that's the
and
dough?
you want to see happy bubbles all the way through the jar. Okay. You'll see it'll start to bubble. And before you leave, we'll already have bubbles forming because I use some warm water. I don't use cold water.
Oh.
So, and then with it getting closer to summertime here in southern Arizona, my house is warmer, right? It's like 74 degrees and that makes it happy. Okay. It loves to be warm. And so it'll rise even faster when it's warm.
I'm so excited.
If it's cold, you have a hard time getting your starter to come to life. Okay. So I'll be baking in my oven during the winter time and stuff, and I'll put my starter on my oven.
On the oven. You're so clever.
Or I cheat and I do a bowl of hot water and I put it inside the bowl of hot water if I want it to start to come to life faster.
So how do I do this?
So this we're going to do just kind of like equal parts, same thing. And you're going to stir it in the warm water and then you're going to add your flour. And you're just going to have to feed it for a couple of days. Okay. And then you're going to see it start to come to life.
Feed it more water and flour.
Let's go a cold swimmer, dude. He's a little cold.
That was really funny. I'm not cutting that out. That's hilarious. Okay.
Be authentic.
So stay tuned and come back because I'm gonna try to. I've never done this in my life. And I really feel like, there's so many projects that we want to do, and we're gonna show you guys. We're gonna show you guys all of them. This is the first one.
One at a time. Stay tuned.